Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the version of moving abroad that nobody posts on Instagram or talks about on YouTube. Not the cute airport selfies, not the new life loading TikToks. I mean the version where your visa is delayed, your luggage is lost, your Airbnb cancels, your bank account gets flagged for foreign fraudulent activity, and you're standing in a foreign country thinking, did I just ruin my entire life? Because here's the truth. For a lot of people, the move abroad doesn't start with magic. It starts with a whole lot of chaos, as I'm experiencing. So today I want to walk you through what actually happens when everything goes wrong during your international move. Emotionally, financially, and logistically. And how people who make it through handle those moments. Part 1. The fantasy versus the reality. Before the move, I pictured smooth airport arrival, a cute cafe, while apartment hunting, instant peace, joy, and freedom. But real life sounds more like your visa processing is delayed, we can't release your shipment yet, and your US debit card isn't working here. And suddenly, you're not in a rom-com relocation montage. You're jet-lagged, overwhelmed, and wondering why every simple task feels like a boss battle. This doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It means you're in the transition storm, the messy middle between your old life and your soon-to-be new one. This is usually the first domino, when all the paperwork falls apart. Maybe your visa takes longer than expected, your residency appointment gets rescheduled for months out, like mine. Your documents weren't translated correctly. Your name doesn't match perfectly across all of your document forms. Now you can't open a bank account, sign a lease, as I'm coming to realize, or get a new phone plan. I'm still paying roaming charges. And you start to feel stuck. Like you moved countries, but you can't actually start living your life yet. This phase feels scary because your independence disappears. I honestly feel like a poltergeist living in limbo. You go from being a very capable adult to someone who needs help reading mail and filling out forms. It's identity whiplash. But as I'm realizing, it's totally normal. Just know you're not failing. You are navigating bureaucracy in a foreign system. That's advanced level adulting, and most can't manage it. Part 3. When the money stress hits. This is the part people don't admit publicly. Your budget starts bleeding. It's like a dam that has broken. Unexpected costs pile up. Temporary housing longer than you planned. Rental car fees because public transport isn't practical. Deposits for everything. International transaction fees and replacing things you couldn't ship. And suddenly, your comfortable cushion feels ultra thin. This is usually when panic sets in. Trust me, that's true. You might think, should I go home? Did I underestimate everything? What if I can't make this work? Now here's the reframe. The beginning of an international move is financially front-loaded. It's the most expensive, most unstable chapter, but it's not the permanent reality. but in the moment, it feels like the ground is disappearing beneath your feet. Part 4. When housing doesn't work out. Maybe the apartment looked bigger online, maybe the neighborhood isn't what you expected, maybe your Airbnb host cancels last minute. Housing issues hit hard because home is your emotional anchor. When that feels unstable, everything feels unstable. This is where most people spiral into, I hate it here. I made a mistake. I want my old life back. But here's what's really happening. You don't miss your old country or your old life. You miss feeling competent and comfortable. Those feelings come back, but they're just not going to come back overnight. They rebuild in layers. Now here's the part that I'm in, part 5, the emotional crash nobody talks about. This is the part that surprises even the most confident people. You might feel lonely, irritable, exhausted, hyper-emotional, and those are all valid feelings. You're grieving. You're grieving your routines, you're grieving your people, and you're grieving your sense of ease. Even if you wanted this move, excitement and grief can exist at the same time. And when everything logistically is going wrong, that emotional weight doubles. This phase is called culture shock, plus transition fatigue. And almost everyone who stays long-term goes through it. The people who make it aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who don't interpret struggle as failure. Part 6. What people who make it through do differently. When everything goes wrong, successful movers shift into survival mode, not quitting mode. They shrink the timeline. Instead of, I need my whole life set up now, it becomes, I just need today handled. They lower expectations temporarily. This isn't the new life glow up phase. This is the logistics bootcamp phase. They ask for help sooner, from other expat groups, from locals, maybe even from some professionals. And they stop comparing their day 12 to someone else's year 5 abroad. And most importantly, they stop asking, was this a mistake? And start asking, what's the next small thing I can fix? The turning point. Here's the beautiful part. One day, without noticing exactly when it happened, you'll figure out the bus system. You get your residency card. You find a grocery store that you like. And you make one friend. And suddenly you're not surviving anymore. You're building. The chaos chapter does not last forever. But it does shape you. It turns you into someone more adaptable, more resourceful, and more confident than you probably ever were before. If your move abroad feels like it's falling apart right now, you are not behind. You are not bad at this. You are in the hardest chapter. The one that nobody films and uploads to YouTube. The people who end up loving their life abroad, a lot of them almost quit in the beginning. But they didn't. And one day, you'll be the one telling someone else, the start was brutal, but I'm so glad I didn't give up. If this helped you feel a little less alone in the chaos, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What's the hardest part of your moving abroad so far? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.